Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. So, I ended up in a manufacturer race, and it's funny because I know I mentioned in one of the other videos that the FIA races are not really my thing, and what makes it funnier or stupid of me was I happened to not be feeling too well that day for, well, personal reasons. And here I am thinking, let's enter this race. Dragon Shell Seaside 2 of all races. And here I am in the top split, or what I think is his top split, because there's a whole bunch of top tier gaming people, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be really interesting. I don't know how it's going to go, but well, let's figure it out. Alright, so here we are on what's called the banker lap, and I'm going to thank Winnie847 from the GT platforms for inventing name for that. So it's basically where you do a flying lap while you still have time. So you're basically doing a qualifying lap. So that way, after that, let's say you want to burn some more fuel, get some new tires, but nothing goes right, you still have a good time that you got. So here we are following Jeeves trying to get some of that slipstream benefits, and as we brake, he ends up going just a little bit wide. Braked a little bit too late, so I'm going to have to go through the rest of this lap alone. Not the ideal situation since I want to go a little faster, but still, this is a banker lap, so we're just going to see how well we can do. We still have pretty good tires, so we're just going to try to maximize this car's potential, even though it's going to be a little heavy due to all the fuel that it has. Just trying to take these turns nicely, try not to go off track, because if you touch the grass, you're definitely going to end up spinning into Neptune. And this is one of those turns where it can be a little hectic for the Aston Martin, or at least for me, it's a little hectic because you can end up going just a little bit too wide, just touch the gravel, and it's going to slow you down just a bit. And for this last turn, just try to be really careful. And I could have gone a little bit more deep into the turn, and I ended up touching the grass just a little bit, so I have to short shift into fourth gear. Luckily, I was able to not spin out, and we're going to get a bit of that slipstream from Dibbler over here and this person just up ahead as they are fuel burning. I mean, I don't think I'll be getting as much of that slipstream, but here we go. We got a 146.7, so not too bad. And here we go, one more time. This is where we did a bit more fuel burning, and we're going to go ahead and start our next flying lap. We left the pits, we got new tires, so let's go ahead and see how we can do. We're going to try to get a better lap time, hopefully better than a 146.7, but I am very sure that as long as I can nail almost every turn, I should be fine, as the car is a little bit lighter. Try to be really careful here through the chicane of death, and luckily I was able to take it super cleanly, get a really good exit speed, and I know for sure we're definitely going to go up in the time. So 1/10 up ahead, and this is one of those really awkward turns for me. For some reason, I just couldn't get it right in this race. You'll see me mess it up just a couple times, but as far as I don't end up spinning out, we should be fine. The qualifying time just ended, so we're going to go ahead and try to finish this lap, and we'll be able to get our time. Try to be really careful through here, just slow it down just a little bit without going too slow. Take advantage of the width of the track without actually touching the grass. Hit a bit of those curves, and then let's go ahead and break at the 100-meter mark. Try to go a bit deep and try to get a really clean turn over here, and luckily the grip of the tires doesn't let me go too wide, so I'll have that to thank for. So TTG Demon over there getting a 145. I don't think I'll be able to get that, but let's see how close we can get as everyone is finishing their lap times and get a better exit through this final turn. And I was pretty happy about that, so I should be seeing good improvement on the qualifying time, as we're about to see in just a moment. And here we go, it's a 146.1. Alright, so it's not bad. So currently in 5th place, but there's still people trying to finish their lap, so we're going to go ahead and see where we actually end up. And we started in 7th place, so that's not bad. We're kind of in the middle of the pack, middle front of the pack, however you want to look at it. But still, we can definitely try to see how far up we can go. My goal is to go up at least one position. I didn't really set too many expectations. Once again, I wasn't feeling too hot, so we'll just see how this goes. We're going to try to fuel save a bit throughout the entire race. That way I don't have to worry about refueling whenever I go to the pit stop. I am going for a 2-step strategy, so we're starting on racing soft, then change into a new set of racing soft tires. I don't know why I said racing soft twice earlier. And then for the third stint, we'll be on racing hard, as someone ended up hitting the chicane to death. I ended up hitting the wall, but luckily I was able to barely get by alive. And that's honestly going to be the scary thing as we go through the race, because it's going to get really crowded in there. It might be a little hard to see where the barriers are. So if you end up turning a little bit too early or a little bit too late, depending on how you look at it, the chicane of death is going to eat you alive. So we're just going to fuel save a little bit more. We already passed the chicane of death once, so let's not worry about that until we approach it again. And one of the problems I actually had with this car, the Aston Martin V Vantage Group 4, is that it chews on its tires. So throughout the race, you're going to see how much wear the front tires have, and it's going to cause me problems throughout the entire race. And this was kind of just one of those reasons why I wasn't too comfortable doing this race, just because the front tires are going to be pretty worn out. Some of the other cars, I think the Toyota 86 has a much better tire wear rate, so it can last a bit longer than this car, and it's going to understeer quite a bit because this car is an absolute unit. I can't believe I just said that. But anyways, fuel save a bit more as GT Pelican and TNTR end up going to the battle. There's a bit of a collision, and I actually decided not to pass, as 1, I'm gonna fuel at 4, and 2, we got the death chicane up ahead, so I don't want to risk anything. I just want to play it safe for now. We're still starting off in the race, so there's no rush to do anything right now besides just settle in and start to think about what we're going to do later in the race. Alright, following TNTR over here, he ends up braking just a bit late, and for some reason I just end up following him. Aston see, Aston do. We both end up going off track for just a moment, and now Turismo Girsa totally late in the pack behind us. They're going to start to catch up a little bit, and it's going to make me at least nervous since I'm the one in the back of this 2-car pack. It's going to be pretty difficult to catch up to the top 4 people up ahead, as they're going at a pretty fast pace. But if TNTR can get a bit of that slipstream from 4th place, then he'll be able to tow me, he'll be able to tow himself, and we'll be back with him before you even know it. But because we did end up going off track for a bit, just with all that extra scrubbing of the tires and stuff, that's going to wear a bit more on the tires, so it's going to cause problems for me in the near future. And over here, I end up going a bit too fast into the turn, so I have to brake a bit more, try not to kill TNTR. I don't want to punt him, my Aston Martin buddy. As Turismo Girsa over here, he ends up getting the advantage of me. Now we're both in a drag race. We're going to go ahead and see who can finish, but here's what I was thinking. I could probably battle him out, or I could just let him pass. So I'm going to let him pass. I don't want to battle him yet. I want to work with him. I want to see if we can catch up to 5th or even 4th place, and that's not going to happen because I just end up going wide. Alright, totally lit. It's your turn. Let's work together so we can catch up to Turismo Girsa, to catch up to TNTR, and to catch up to whoever's in 4th place. Got it? Alright, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to end up sliding a bit through Death Chicane, and unfortunately that's not going to work in my favor as they're starting to pull away from me, so now I have to play a bit of catch up, as Totally and Girsa, they're probably going to start battling out soon, and no, it's actually going to be a 3-car battle, so as long as they start slowing down, they're going to let me catch up because, well, I'm not battling anyone. And, well, that works for me, especially as my tires are slowly starting to get worn. So keep on fighting. Let's go ahead and catch up to them. And hopefully we can be a bit diplomatic and work together to catch up to 4th place, because let's face it, we all want to get podium, right? Anyways. Alright, so we're going to be catching up to them. And as TNTR and Girsa ends up going side to side through that turn, they're kind of going to block Totally Lit, which is going to let me catch up to them, and now I'm going to be hanging out right behind them. I could go for a double pass, but I'm going to decide to not battle it out, especially as we have this pretty dangerous turn. So I'm just going to try to be very careful as I end up hitting Totally Lit. Accidentally hit him. Didn't mean to do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and flash my E lights just as a way to say sorry. And we're still going to be getting some of that slipstream benefits, so we should be able to keep up with them. But we got Outlaw Quadrant and Roll Beef hanging out behind us, so it's going to be a bit more hectic as now there's another group behind us. So now we're a pretty big group, and we're going to see what ends up happening. Definitely not going to try to battle it out over here as we have the Death Chicane coming in. I go just slightly too wide, and Outlaw Quadrant is going to catch up to me a bit more. And as we approach the Death Chicane, I'm going to go ahead and get myself prepared. And look, this thing is a killer. And when I realized I turned just a bit too early, I knew my race is over. When I realized I turned just a bit too early and ended up hitting the Death Chicane, my heart just sank to the ground. I was just like, no, I cannot believe I just did that. And I mean, I can still catch up, but it's going to be a lot harder. And with the tires spinning, you know, the wheels spinning a bit as I hit the chicane, the tires are going to be a bit more worn out. As you see here, I'm just having a hard time just trying to get the grip, and I can't catch up to them as I end up spinning out. And I mean, I was already pretty frustrated, but now as the car just doesn't want to cooperate. And this was within the first 5 laps. I just knew my race is over. And I don't know why I decided not to quit. I guess I'm just one of those people that's just like, okay, this sucked, let's just finish this. Let's just see what we can salvage. But unfortunately at this point, I mean, I had to pit early because my tires were completely done for. I don't think there's much to salvage. Let's just finish for honor and glory. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, unfortunately, just nothing worked out. And speaking of the tires, so I ended up going racing hard for the last stint, and when I was looking at the replay, I realized I made a huge mistake because some of the top people, they had racing soft front tires and racing hard rear tires, and that happened to satisfy the tire requirement. And honestly, I'm even then or now, I'm still thinking to myself, why did I not think of that? I mean, it was a pretty smart idea of those people to do that, but I'm just a bit baffled that I didn't come up with that thought of doing that sooner. And yeah, and then after just hitting the Death Chicane and spinning out, it's just, this race was nothing but a lost cause to me, especially as just not feeling it. And well, yeah, that's pretty much what happened in this race. And I mean, yeah, I'm still a bit salty, but what can I say, or what can I do? The most I can do is just move on and just get ready for the next race. If I choose to participate in it, I might not. I'm still not sure because I've been doing a bunch of test runs with both Aston Martins, the Group 3 and the Group 4, and I mean, just individually, I like driving them, but like when you start competing with other people, I just don't get a good experience out of these cars. So we'll see what happens. I'm still thinking about that and other things that's not relating to this channel or the game. But yeah, but hey, 16th out of 16th. 4 people backed out. I almost spun out right there. But I managed to stick it through, even though I humiliated myself through my own stupidity. But yeah, I guess this really proves that I am the world's most okay player. Oh man. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. we'll see what happens in the next episode where I end up hanging out with a bunch of Miatas. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and if you end up hitting the death chicane, don't feel alone in it because I hit it as well. But anyways, this is Mr. MCA, the world's most OK player. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.